Good morning. Today we're going to show you how we incorporate some green manure. I've got an old field that was pretty overgrown and had some raised beds in it, so we decided to plant some oats in it, and then I'm going to mow that down, till it in, and then reseed with some winter rye, and then till it in and probably plant some hay for next year. So I'm just going to take the ATV out and have a look at the field, see what we're up to, and then we're should be good to go. So this is some small field, about 1 acre, just planted with some grass for hay. And then the field that I'm looking at is just this part out here. It's probably 1.5 acres, 2 acres going this way. The field's looking okay. There's certainly some oats that have come up. I planted some crimson clover in here as well, but there's a lot of milkweed and goldenrod and some echinacea out there somewhere. So not bad. What I'll do is I'll mow it down, till it in, and then replant with some winter rye. You can see the far field there down the middle, past the middle, that's got some grass in it, and then at the very end some more grass as well. So once we get this tilled down and stuff, we can replant. And then all right, we're about 2/3 of the way finished. We've bush hogged this whole section. There's just this section in here between the far field portion that's been done and this area here. So a few more passes and we should be good to go. This is the cedar that I use to plant. We're about to plant some winter rye, as I mentioned, but it's designed, this is an ATV model. It's actually designed to go on the back rack, and that would certainly be better for just getting less stuff on you. But I've actually modified it to go into the front rack, just because I've got the top case there. So I'll show you how I assemble this onto the front rack. You get a sense of how this mounts. What I've done is actually taken a picture on my phone when I took it off, and then marked a bit of a template so you can see, what parts go where, and then numbered the components. But it's effectively just 4 brackets that secure on either side of the frame, and the frame is sort of adjustable enough that you can fit it on different size ATVs. This is a 500 model, which is plenty. And then all you need to do is it needs to come forward enough that you can operate these control levers. And I find once it's skidded right up to the front, it's pretty good. All right, once it's mounted, once it's assembled, at least it maybe takes 15 or so minutes to put it together using the 4 brackets. You got to really crank them down. You can see that these brackets are bending, so make sure you have a spare because you're likely going to shear it off at some point. Carry a 1/2-inch wrench with you because the vibration, there's so much weight, like this whole unit probably weighs 40 or 50 pounds, and then you're putting in another up to 50 or so pounds in here. But I'll give you a bit of a tour. This is a Herd Sure Feed broadcast spreader. It's the one that the local farm shop represented or recommended. You can get polypropylene ones, but they said this is sort of the one that's pretty heavy duty. It's got a galvanized steel hopper. It's again assembled steel, not too bad. You can see here the seeding chart, which tells you, depending on what you're planting, what the settings are and how far it will broadcast, how much you need. So if you're doing like a food plot seeding, which is what a lot of people would use these for, this works incredibly well for that, especially on an ATV mount. And then I've bodged together a bit of an electronics thing at the end of the power cable. I've put the power poles, you've seen those on my other videos. And then just temporarily, I'm running this back to a port that I have off the battery. But what I'll do is eventually I'm just gonna wire in a plug up front and just allow me to plug in and basically go. And so what I do is when I'm driving it, I just hop in the ATV. We'll show you how that works. And then once you're in the field, you hit the power bar, just turn that on, and you're good to go. And I'll put a power switch on there. And you can see down here, this is where the motor is and the thrower. It's a pretty heavy duty unit. This whole thing is made in the United States, which is always good and nice quality. And so far I've found this to be pretty successful. And just if you're interested, it's the model GT77 is what I'm using. All right, I'll show you how we start to spread some seed now. Oh, good morning. It's a beautiful fall day here in Ontario. You can see that we're starting to get some nice colors changing. Like just look at the maples over there, looking really beautiful. And the plan today, I've cut this field. The plan is to actually do some seeding of this. Again, it's about just over an acre or so that needs to be seeded. I'm going to be seeding some winter rye, which is a crop, at least in our market, that can take in sort of the late fall and survive the winter. And the intent is a couple of things. You can see this field is in pretty rough shape still. The plan with the winter rye is that it will go to seed and start to improve the soil quality. And then in the spring, what I'll do is I'll mow it all down and incorporate it, and they call that sort of a green manure. But the technique I'm using here is very similar to what you do with a food plot. I'm going to experiment with something this year where I'm going to seed the whole thing, and then I'm going to go over it with a tiller, but kind of do a relatively light tiller. Like I like to leave as much stubble down here as possible so that the soil is protected from erosion rather than sort of tilling out the entire field. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that, but I'll see what that looks like. And I'm using the ATV to do some seeding, and I'll show you how I put that together. We've got 2 bags of seed, which should be plenty for this area. The seed goes into the hopper here, and you can see where it kind of goes out the bottom there. I've got a bag of seed here. If anyone knows how to get these things, this is one of these ones where I either get it perfectly the first time or I don't get it at all, and they basically drive me nuts. So anyways, I brought a knife. I'll just slice open the bag. Okay, so here's the rye. Some nice, beautiful rye. I always liked it. Looks gorgeous. And if I check the chart over here, shows me rye, 32-foot width on this spreader, 42 pounds an acre, and this is about an acre and setting 1/2 inch open. So given the broadcast seeder and that I'm not doing a great job, I'll basically double that. I'm going to put almost 100 pounds down on this field. And you can see I've got the heavy duty aftermarket customized shield to prevent some of the seed from blowing back into the grill on the ATV. Hopefully that works. All right, let's get going with the seeding. Okay, so what I do is I basically turn the motor on and open the gate and then just start to go. So reach forward, turn the motor on, starts to spread, pull the gate open, and go. And now I'm going to actually try and just do a light till to leave as much stubble on the ground as possible until I put it into the ground next year. And I'll show you what I'm using. That is a tiller. So helpful. It creates a really smooth seed bed, but it's actually very slow for doing fields like this. Quite frankly, I'd prefer to have a set of discs or something to work this stuff in, and maybe a roller or something, but at least we'll get started. All right, wind is picking up. The field is done. You can see down here kind of the finish that I was looking for. Still lots of stubble to hold everything together, but we'll hopefully have got some of the winter rye seeded. And it's supposed to rain over the next couple of days for a bunch of time, so I'm hoping that will really help with the germination. So that's basically the end. Thanks for watching. Please click like and hope you subscribe.